Are you looking for a space where you will learn to improve your mental strength, emotional health, and heal your insecurities from the inside out? Take the first step to living a more meaningful life with the Better Me with Body by Bree podcast. I'm your host, Bree. I'm a certified personal trainer, entrepreneur, and mother of 3. I've helped empower thousands of women to take action through fitness, nutrition, meditation, personal development, and aligning thoughts with action. This podcast is for those who are ready to feel inspired and motivated to live a more purposeful life. Let's grow together. Have you ever noticed how much your hormones impact your mood, energy levels, body image, and even how your body looks? What if you had the knowledge to know what hormonal shifts are happening in your body during the month and then use that information to your advantage? In today's podcast, we're talking all about your menstruation cycle and how each phase makes you feel and how you can use that with your training schedule. We will go over your menstruation, follicular, ovulation, and luteal phases and specifics of how to help you feel your best during each phase. Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast, friends. I thought it would be fun to do a podcast on menstruation because it affects me so much. So, funny story with Adam and I is he knows all the different cycles because I've educated him on this. So, if I'm ever being ornery, he's like, oh, you're in the luteal phase. I can tell that you're going to start your menstruation. Or he'll be like, oh, I love when you're in the follicular phase because you're just so happy and you have so much energy. Like he knows exactly how I feel according to what phase I'm in. So I am going to educate you so that you know what's going on in your body. And then you can switch up your training, your nutrition, or even just give yourself some grace because you know that it's a hormonal shift and it's not going to last. So, if you're someone who menstruates, you've likely had days where your cycle has impacted your workouts, or maybe you have questions about how and when you should exercise during your period. So, the most common question is usually focused on whether or not you should be working out during your period. And research actually does show that there's more to it than that because you have hormonal changes throughout your whole menstruation cycle. And that can have a range of effects on your energy levels and your exercise performance, and even what types of exercises you should do. And you'll be better than others depending on what phase you're in. So, when scheduling your workouts, it's worth just taking into account where you are in your cycle, and this might affect your training. So let's talk about this. The average menstruation cycle lasts for 28 days, and it has 4 main phases. So you have menstruation, the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. So the length of each of these phases and the full cycle can actually vary from person to person, but this is just a main guide. You might be a couple days off, but that's okay. So this will help you better understand your body, and then you can choose different styles of training according to, your cycle, and even help you boost your performance. So let's talk about exercising during your period. So it's that time of month. And this is when you are actually menstruating, okay? Or when you're actually on your period. But what is happening to your body during this time, and how can you best support your body? So during this phase, your uterus is shedding the lining. It's built up throughout the month. So the first day of your period is considered day 1 of your cycle, and this phase typically lasts 3 to 7 days. At the beginning of your period, your progesterone and your estrogen levels will be at their lowest, which, along with the loss of blood, can cause you to feel more tired than normal. That's why you are dragging and you're just like blah. And as your period goes on, then your hormone levels will start to gradually increase. So if you're experiencing fatigue during the early days of your period, you're probably not going to feel like doing much intense exercises, right? Like you probably want to just lay in bed and pull the covers over your head. But you might have heard some mixed messages about how you should exercise, or even if you should work out while you're on your period. But for me, it actually helps me to get my body moving and just do gentle exercises. Like I love to stretch. I love to go for walks. And there's also research that shows that exercising during your period actually helps with your period pain and with cramps. So everyone is really different. I understand that. Like all of our bodies are so different. And so some people, it's debilitating. They cannot get out of bed. And for others, they can barely feel it. So you have to do, what's best for you and how you feel, and you have to listen to your body. But if you do choose to exercise during your period and you are feeling low in energy, then it's probably a good idea to just reduce the intensity of your workout. So if you do want to stay active during your period without doing anything too strenuous, some things you could do are like relaxing yoga poses or stretching, because that's a great way to release tension and stress while calming your mind and your body. And certain poses will help, like child's pose or the reclined spine twist and cat cow. All of those poses actually help alleviate the tension in your lower back and your pelvis, and it'll help with the cramps as well. Obviously, walking or light cardio, that's incredibly beneficial for you. And if you're used to running, then maybe you'll want to just do like a light jog or, a walk, maybe slower pace. Or you continue to do your strength training during this phase, but it might be a good idea just to reduce your weights. So because you're more fatigued, this is not the time to push yourself really hard. It's not the time to try to hit a PR. You probably won't. So just stick where you're at currently and then just make the weights a little lighter. Like during this phase, I'm happy that you're even just at the gym. So you're not going to be like hitting any PRs, and that's okay. So let's talk about what's going on mentally. Personally, I feel a lot of self-doubt. Like this is weird what it does. Whenever I feel imposter syndrome or like, who do I think I am? Why do I think I can do this? I'm the worst. Whenever I have those thoughts, I usually am going to start my period like the next day, or I'm on my period. So I have to be like, okay, I'm having a dip in my hormones right now. This isn't actually how I feel. Just write it out for a few days and you'll feel better. I have to tell myself that, because normally I'm a very positive, happy, confident person, but on my period, I'm like, I'm the worst. Everything sucks. I need to quit my job. I'm not good at what I'm doing. I need to be more productive. I'm the worst mom. I'm the worst wife. Like it just is a downhill spiral. So I know I feel bloated. I pick my body apart because I just am not happy. And you'll feel very emotional, angry. Like I have a lot of rage. I'm just not the happiest of people on my period. But I have over the years been really good at being like, okay, this is just your hormones. Like you don't need to be crazy, like calm down. So I'm able to kind of walk myself through it. But I will say that you will want to quit your plan and eat everything in sight. Do not do it. So you are going to be more hungry. You will have stronger cravings, and it's okay to eat a little bit more during your period. Maybe you do have a little more chocolate or whatever. But a lot of times when you're doing really well and then you get on your period, you look in the mirror and you look a little bloated and you've gained a few pounds of water and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I trying so hard? This plan's not working, and you just start getting down on yourself and you will want to quit, but you can't. You have to tell yourself, I will feel better in 5 days. Okay. All right, let's talk about exercising during the follicular phase. So your period's over. You're now in the follicular phase of your cycle. So let's talk about how you can best exercise during this time of the month. So in this phase, it actually begins on the first day of your period and it continues until the beginning of ovulation. So it's typically on days 1 to 11 of your menstruation cycle. So during the follicular phase, your body creates a hormone known as FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone. And this hormone signals to the ovaries to create eggs for the ovulation phase. And each of these eggs is housed inside a follicle. And that's why it's called the follicle phase. So after menstruation is over, your estrogen levels get a big boost. So your body prepares to release this egg, which is usually associated with increased energy. So for me, I feel amazing. Like that's why Adam's always like, I love the follicular phase. Like, you're happy, you're just energized, you're in a good mood, and that's how you usually feel. So, with the increased energy of this phase, it's a good time to challenge yourself or try new things in your routine. Like maybe you want to do a HIIT workout instead of your normal steady state cardio. That would be a great time to do it. Maybe you want to try boxing or you want to do your strength training, you want to hit some new PRs. This would be the greatest time to do it. So, this phase is the perfect time to push yourself a little more and try to hit those PRs or add 5 more pounds because you'll feel really strong, and you'll want to challenge yourself. So, what's happening mentally? Like we said before, you have lots of energy, you feel strong, the bloating has gone away, so you're feeling like yourself again. You feel happy because your hormones are leveled out. This is my favorite phase. You feel really good. Then you enter the ovulation phase, and this is obviously right after the follicular phase and before the luteal. So it typically lasts for 3 to 5 days, is when you're ovulating, and also the only time you can get pregnant. Okay, so it's between days 12 and 17 of your cycle. So during this phase, you'll still have high levels of estrogen from the follicular phase, and so it'll trigger. Sorry, you will also have increased levels of luteinizing hormone. So that's what is triggering the body to start ovulating. So ovulation tends to be a higher energy time as well. And if that's the case, then you can make the most out of this by, again, trying some high energy workouts, doing a PR. Like you will feel so strong during your ovulation phase. For the most part, you can continue to do the same exercises you were doing with the follicular phase, or even switch up the style, like, start running or whatever, because you will feel so good. So, what's going on mentally? You're going to feel so confident during this phase. I love it. Like I said, it's Adam's favorite. I give him all the attention, all the love, because my libido is usually really high, which isn't that interesting that your body does that. Like your body knows you're ovulating and it's like, hey, I want to have sex. That is what your body is telling you. Like, I want to get pregnant. It's so weird how that happens. But it's my favorite 3 days of the month because it's really fun. So embrace it, like have fun with it and enjoy it. And I do notice like my stomach's not as bloated. It feels really flat. I just feel really good about my pace and my efforts, and the lens that I'm looking through is brighter, just everything is good when you're ovulating. Now, then you'll enter into your luteal phase. So the luteal phase is the last phase of your menstruation cycle, before you start your period. So this typically lasts 12 to 14 days. It's between day 18 and 13. And during the first part of this phase, you'll still have some energy from ovulating, but as you get closer to menstruation, it slowly goes lower and lower. So you will have a peak in your progesterone levels, which will make some people feel really drowsy. So usually during the luteal phase, you'll feel like things are a lot harder. Like when you're trying to lift, you'll be like, well, I just feel like I always say the term, like, I feel like I'm running in mud, or I feel like my body's just heavy. Like I'm just tired. Things are harder to do. That's probably because you're in the luteal phase. So how should you exercise during this phase? You can continue with your usual workouts, but just know that things are going to be a little harder. So like you probably don't want to try to hit your PR. And maybe you want to incorporate a little more stretching, yoga, Pilates, things that are going to increase your strength and release some of that muscle tension without putting your body under too much stress. Low intensity cardio, long walks. This is a great time to do that. So at the end of this podcast, the moral of the story is if you track your period and you know which phase of your cycle you're in, it's important that you are in tune with your body, right? Like you can do this the old fashioned way using your calendar or a diary or whatever. They even have tracking apps for that. It's usually pretty easy. Just when you start your period, look at the calendar. But whenever you are more familiar with your body, how your unique cycle works, how you feel, it gives you the power to actually be able to work with your body instead of fighting your body. And it's a beautiful thing. It's like, it's part of being a woman and it's really unique and it's really cool. And instead of being like, oh, I hate my period, I hate that I feel this way, you can have a little more gratitude if you know what's happening and what's going on and know that it's like a beautiful thing that's happening. So hopefully this is helpful. This helped me a lot because sometimes I'd get down on myself and be like, oh, why am I so exhausted? Why am I so tired? I'm eating all the right things. I'm doing all the right workouts, but sometimes it's just hormonal and that's okay. And you can give yourself some grace, and it's really not that big of a deal. In a week, you'll feel different. You'll feel better. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what questions you have. If you ever need help, remember I am a certified personal trainer, obviously for the last 12 years now, and I would love to help you. My website is bodybybree.com, or you can email me, bree@bodybybree.com, and I would love to help. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining us in today's episode. If you liked the content and want to hear more, remember to hit that subscribe button and write a review. As a small business owner, I appreciate it more than you know. If you are looking for a program to help with self-confidence, to lose weight, get in shape, and work on your mental, physical, and emotional health, check out my training programs on www.bodybybree.com. My team and I help to hold you accountable through the Body by Bree app, where you log in to see all your workouts, custom meal plan made specifically for you and your needs, and communication through the messenger. You are never alone when you're on the Body by Bree training program. Click the link in the show notes to get more information on how to transform your life from the inside out.